Thunderbolt technology in what do we say? The Smoothie, right?
Smoothie.
And is that one of your first high performance models?
Yeah. I mean, not for my brand, no. But
Okay.
in Thunderbolt, yes. It was the first three boards we released was Smoothie, Blender, and the Wrangler. And the Smoothie and the Blender are really from the same generic. You know, in fact, the Blender came first, and it was aimed at a wave in particular. We were surfing in China in Hainan, in Ryuri Bay, where we had the World Longboard Championships for 6 years, and over going there year after year and year after year, I designed this board that was still high performance, but much wider in the tail, a little bit more forgiving everywhere. More volume and more width, a little bit less rocker than my high performance boards. But again, you know, I got a feeling out of that board that was just incredible to flow, and just the ease of surfing it was just amazing. So the Smoothie was taken from the Blender, and that's why it's called the Smoothie, because it came out of the Blender. And that was the kind of joke. And so yeah, the Smoothie is a pulled in high performance version of the Blender. And it's definitely our highest performance model. It's got the most rocker and the least volume throughout the board. Much sort of lower around the rails. Pretty, you know, all round high performance longboard. Still great on the nose though. You know, like I've always aimed at have every board that, you know, I've designed. As a shaper and as a surfer, I want everything out of the board. I don't want to just stand on a longboard and on the tail and go whack, 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 you know? Like I love to be able to do that, but I also want to come out of that turn and then run to the nose and be able to nose ride well too. So it's really important that you know, although it's a high performance board, you know, these boards nose ride great too. So, you know, that's something that you should know for sure.
Yeah. I remember when you were here in Hawaii, you were saying that, you know, you were telling me, you know, I don't make any flat spots on my board.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you were telling me?
So yeah, you know, I just always focused on the bottoms of my boards. Having in my high performance boards, I had a concave up the front third of the board, and blending into a double concave through the center, which starts inside of that concave. So there's no flat spot, and a lot of longboards will have the concave up the front, but the middle sort of section of the board will be pretty flat and nothing really there, and then going into a double or a V or both. So the Smoothie runs from a single in. You'll feel the double come in inside that concave about a third of the way down, and you'll feel it run all the way out, and it turns into the V in the middle actually becomes more pronounced as a V through the tail, but with the double still running through it. So it's completely blended through the whole board. There's no flat spot. It transitions from concave into double with V through the back. So that way, you know, it's really aimed at gaining speed when stepping back from the nose. Is one of the biggest things that I feel I gain from having that. So as soon as that first like step back, the board like accelerates. You step into that double concave straight away, and there's no like flat spot where the water doesn't really know what it's doing. So that was something that I feel really works, and you can feel it on the boards for sure. When you step back, they accelerate, and therefore you're coming out with lots of speed, and you can come and put it on a rail and do a big turn, whether you're doing a big carve back or, you know, big re-entry.
Yeah.
So
when you're on the nose and you push, you kind of walk back, it'll catch up speed, so you can bring the whole board out of the whitewash and start ripping on it, huh?
Yeah, you just accelerating when you come back from the nose, and that's something on a high performance longboard that you want. And it's funny because, you know, the traditional boards and the nose riders, we're actually looking at slowing the board down, and everything's creating, you know, you're actually doing the opposite. So having something that still nose rides well, but when you step back accelerates like that is quite amazing. And the Smoothie, you know, the rocker just right in the end of the nose, we've just accelerated the rocker just so that it's not flipped and doesn't push water, especially when you're paddling. But when you actually go to 10, you've got that extra bit of rocker that the board doesn't sort of nose ride, and actually slows you down a bit. So actually stood in the 10, the Smoothie feels like it does slow down a bit, and you can hold yourself there a little bit longer.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, you know, and then, but like I said, with that bottom shake, 2 steps back and you accelerate and you're back at Mach 10 and you can, you know, start driving turns. So
Yeah.
you know,
I
nice
have
feeling.
the guys that buy the boards, they were short boarders in the past, and they want to get on a performance longboard, and they, you know, a few of them, they were searching around, they got on your board and they're just like, this is it. This is like a performance shortboard for me. But then they can start messing around and kind of walking to the nose a little bit, you know, even though they're not there yet. So it's a lot of the guys that are, you know, they had like a 10-year stretch of not surfing, and they get on the that Smoothie, and they're like, dude, this is like a shortboard, but this thing is, and it's awesome. So then they can take late drops and still, you know, they're confident on the board too.
Great, and you know, I'm stoked to hear that, and that's, you know, that's what I'd like to feel, and it's definitely fast. The board's fast as well, you know. So pretty much anywhere you stand, the thing flies.
Yeah.
Apart from that last sort of 5 inches on the nose, when you're hanging 10, you get that little bit of break. So, you know, it's an interesting board, and for me, like, if I want to just go and properly smack a lip, then that Smoothie is the board all day long, you know.
Yeah. So I've heard that the Thunderbolt technology stuff, when you're turning and stuff, you can actually feel the board bend more into the wave than a traditional longboard.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things you feel from a Thunderbolt because of the T-band stringer and the A and the V beam. It creates the torsional flex, and actually we increase the flex through the tail by cutting away some carbon. So right in the tail, you feel extra twist from that, and when your loading turns up, it feels incredible. Something happens, I don't know what, but the thing loads up, and carbon has that memory that flexes straight back. Whenever it's sort of pushed to its limits, it comes back, which creates energy, and the board like snaps into like a turn. It's a really incredible feeling. But I also notice a lot, like when you're pushing like a hard turn on a longboard and you've got so much board and such a tight curve of wave to fit that board in, sometimes that nose will catch, you know, on any longboard you ride. But the Thunderbolts seem to, like, they'll catch and they just kind of like twist out of it and just don't catch.
Wow.
And so, and when that happens, it's kind of like you get like a spring back from everything, that any twist you get, you kind of, and so the board will like accelerates out of that as well. So even like you should have nosedived and stopped, you actually come out and accelerate. You know, it's a rad feeling. So yeah, I mean, you really feel it on the more high performance boards, the technology, because obviously there's less thickness and volume in the board, so there's more, you definitely feel more torsional flex in the high performance boards like the Smoothie and Harley's high performance boards. And obviously with the traditional boards, you're not looking for that feeling as much. It's more about the trim and the glide. And that's what's really clever about the technology as well, is that we've got like 3 levels of technology to give you 3 different feelings for, you know, what type of board you're riding. And so that's important too. You'll feel that with the carbons compared to, you know, the black compared to the red, and then the silver. And the silver's, you know, exciting for me to get the new cherry picker in the silver, and we're trying some higher density foam as well, so that, you know, they sit slightly lower in the water. And there's all sorts of things that we're playing with to make these boards feel better and better and better. So
now that you're talking about the red, black, and silver, for the customers that, or the people that don't know anything, and believe me, when I first got on the Thunderbolt about 3, 4, maybe it's been 4 years now or 5 years, I was lost, man, because I was like, black, red, silver, what the hell is all this stuff? So the red has the most amount of flex.
Yes.
And then the carbon, the black, which is the carbon, just the last layer has carbon on it. And then the
still
silver,
has the internal carbon flex system inside. So that's kind of the integral part of the Thunderbolt technology, is the carbon flex pattern inside. So the V beam, the A beam, and the T-band stringer connected in the right places create the flex that is the money. So that is inside all the boards. In the silver, I think there's just the T-band stringer, I believe. But in the red, there's the V-beam, the A-beam, the T-stringer, and then it's just a fiberglass external laminate. And then the black is carbon external laminate. So that extra carbon around the whole board is where you're going to stiffen that flex up. And you get a slightly like a much more springy, like snappier kind of flex. And the red is much more of like and once the funny thing is with the black as well, they get better by age with age. They're like a fine wine, you know, and the more you ride them, the better they get. The more the carbon stretches and flexes, the better they feel. So, you know, it's the first couple of weeks, sometimes they feel a little bit stiff still, and then they just get better at each surf, you know, and it's a nice feeling when that happens and you start feeling it. It's good.
Yeah, right on. I'm sorry, I cut you off on the silver part. What did you say about the silver part?
The silver, so I think the silver has the T-band stringer, not the A-beam and the V-beam. And
okay.
It's a very, really stripped back version of the Thunderbolt because, you know, we're aiming at a much more traditional feel, as I said. So there's certain aspects that work good with the silver, but you don't want it to feel really stiff and you don't want it really floppy either, and you want a bit more weight. So the silvers are weighted a little bit more as well. They're just a bit more of a traditional kind of layout. So yeah, it's rad. Get involved.
So for fins, what fins are you using on the you're a big guy. You're like what, 6'2", 6'3"?
I think 6'2", 6'1" maybe.
Yeah.
We'll say 6'2".
Okay. And how much do you weigh?
I weigh I weigh about 14 stone, which is about 85 kilos.
85
like that.
Oh, you're 80. Sure, you're about 100. Maybe
maybe a little bit more. Maybe like 90 kilos, probably.
Yeah. I think you're closer to 100 kilos. So you're like almost 200. Yeah, but you're a big dude. So, and how many stones are you?
So I'm 14 stone.
Oh, okay. Well, for the people that are listening, he's not stoned. That's how.
No. Not all the time, anyway.
That's the weight measurement.
So, yeah.
All right. And then, so the fins that you're using, what are you using on the board?
So on the performance boards, I've been working with FCS. I've been using a medium kind of accelerator style side bite. And then I've also developed a new center fin with FCS. So this is my template that we've been working together on. These obviously work great together, but also they will be sold separately. So you can mix this with your other sideys or put this with your centers. So I think this is one of the first side fins of this kind of size and shape for FCS, which is quite exciting because I've been riding shortboard fins in my side fins basically from FCS2 to get the feeling I want. So we're kind of putting this into a set, which is going to be the Skin Dog 2+1 in the FCS2 construction.
What's the size of the center fin?
So the center fin is 7.5. And then, as I said before, these are like a medium accelerator style fin. It's like a medium shortboard size. So that's the closest thing to them, but super light, really nice flex. They've been feeling great. These are the test set that I've been testing. So they're coming soon. We're hoping it was going to be September with everything that's happening. I don't know yet, but you know,
we'll have them for sure when they come out.
It is, yeah. I appreciate that, and yeah, these will work with all the boards, and also it's going to be a really good mid-length set as well. You know, like a really good 2+1 set for mid-lengths. And I said, even like using these with the other center fins in the mid-length is going to be great too.
Right on.
So yeah, excited about that.
Yeah, right on, man. Hey, thank you very much, and enjoy the beer, and hopefully we'll see everybody in Hawaii again. That was so, man, when you guys came down, CJ, Harley, you, and then man, all the Hawaii Pro guys came over, and then the FCS. Was that the SCS CEO that came over too?
FCS, yeah.
Yeah, that was so good.
It was amazing, and
Yeah.
it was great. You know what? I always remember that, and I'll never forget it. It was a great trip, and you looked after us amazing, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, David.
Right
And I
on.
can't wait to get back over there. To be honest, it's been too long. Need some Hawaiian sun.
Yeah. Right on.
Music.
Thank you.
All right, David.
All right. Hey, so
Take
if
care.
somebody has a question, they can always DM you, yeah, on Instagram.
Of course, yeah, of course. Please do. My surfboards is Skin Dog Surfboards on Instagram, or my personal one is Skin Doggy Dog. Either one, you can contact me, ask me any questions. Of course, I'll be answering them for you, and as best I can. You might be some delays with time zone issues, but we'll always get back to you.
Right
And
on.
yeah, fire away.
Thanks. Cheers.